gotta wake up. I gotta wake up. All right. Welcome to Good morning, Michael Dean. How are you this day?
I'm doing good. I'm fresh off the birthday celebration, you know.
Yes.
So I'm
Happy belated birthday.
Thank
yes.
you.
Did you do anything special?
Yeah, absolutely nothing.
Sometimes you need that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, I just stayed at home, chilled out, me and my daughter. Had a good time. But I wanted to say real quick, thank you to everybody for all the birthday wishes and loves. I got a lot of great stuff online, people calling. It's something like you can wake up and you getting people calling you, singing to you. That's a good thing. So I appreciate that so much. Let me shout out to my homegirl Kanisa, hooked me up with the 2020 Tony drip,
Nice.
you know, so I can front like I went to the concert, but I didn't. But you know, thank you for that. So that was dope. So yeah, just having a good time. Great community of people. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And speaking of community of people, we got to do some shout outs. Definitely to Realign, the DJ who was ready to rock. I appreciate your, yeah, very early, but I appreciate that. And we got Cassandra Bradley in the house. Hey, Purples. And Realign, the DJ. We got April from Tampa. We got Denise in. Good afternoon, fam. We got Andre Staley representing the Detroit, for those of you who don't know. We got Christina representing Minneapolis. We got Zuzu's Pedals. Good evening, everyone. And good morning, Mila. Thank you so much for being here as always. Good morning from Denver to Nick Felden. Thank you so much for being here. Good morning, Purple Saints.
You know what we need to get? We got to get a cassette tape, right? I used to be able to have cassette tape, but we got to get a cassette tape every time we start the show. We got to say, "Good morning," you know, like more. You know, little song in hands like this. You
can't. Yes, we definitely need that. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Natalie. Good afternoon, rather. I'm still in the morning time. Happy birthday to Michael from Natalie. Thank you so much, Audra, for being with us last week. We appreciate you being here and talking about the official Diamonds and Pearls release party, which was really fantastic. Good morning, my alliterative brother, Blade Brown. Scorpios are in the house. All right.
Gotta turn that part up real quick.
Yeah, I needed some wake me up right now. Since I couldn't play Push live from the from Clam, which is what I was playing to get myself ready for today. What's up, El Michelle? Happy birthday again from Christina to Michael Dean.
Yeah.
Good morning to Eric L. from Wisconsin. First time being able to catch the show live. That's fantastic.
Let's go.
Ain't no other. Calling all no funky knucklehead brothers. Madhouse 13, rock this mother.
All right. We're playing the Paisley Park mix of 13. Yes, Vincent, we are enjoying Purple Church. Welcome, Andre. Good morning, Myron Scott. Raywin is wishing Michael Dean happy birthday.
Thank you, Raywin. Love you.
Los Angeles is in the house. Dreyer dances. Hope you had a great birthday, Mr. Dean. My niece's birthday was yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday to your niece.
Welcome, C. Lee. Just sticking my head in, though, to say hello before I head to a workshop. Have a wonderful purple day. Good God. That's if you can sing and dance. All right. Yes, sir. Back with the Purple Fam. Just call me it. Welcome. That's really love sexy. Welcome, budding anarchist. Andre 3D hologram, Diamonds and Pearls DVD coming. We got Houston and
old school dances.
Let's see. We got Lisa Williams. Happy Saturday and happy birthday, Michael. Some more happy birthday wishes from Blade Brown. From Brian C. Alford.
Brian.
Happy Saturday, TP. Maria, hello, purple people. So, Andre, you're saying Michael Dean Diamonds and Pearls is going to be in theaters. Have you heard anything about this?
Other than it being a wish, but we're going to speak that into existence.
Yeah, let's speak that into existence.
It's not too
for
late.
Sure. It's never too late. The world needs to see that Glam Slam show. Welcome, Dr.
Yeah. And even all the Glam Slam shows. What's the one from Miami? Remember that? That would be a cold one.
Yep. I'm with you, Raywin. Let's see. It says this is coming from Symbolism Productions. Happy birthday, Mr. Dean, all the way from Africa.
From the motherland. Let's go. Come on, brother. Come on.
And says, really on the DJ said, appreciate you both greatly. Thank you. Happy birthday, Sir Dean. And actually, my birthday's coming up. So,
let's get ready.
Yeah, let's get ready. And we got to represent November 23rd. It's actually going to be on Thanksgiving today. I mean, this year, not today. This year.
Okay, I have a good one then.
Yeah.
Nice.
And my grandfather's was the day after mine on the 24th. So it was always a special time. But he's no longer with us. But I celebrate for the both of us.
Absolutely. My mom's is the day before mine.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nope. All right. So I hope that got you guys ready. Got ready. All right. So let's get into it. First of all, today is actually Maddie's birthday. And Maddie is Prince's mom, for those of you who don't know, November 11th. So we got all sorts of amazing birthdays, not only Michael Dean, but also Maddie. So I always love this photo of Maddie and Prince. I think it's so special. And then obviously the picture in the middle is from the autobiography, The Beautiful Ones. And it's so very with the polka dots. And then you got purple. I really love this shot of Maddie. And then to the right is the obituary that was in the Star Tribune. It's very short. And it's just really interesting. Yes, indeed. Happy birthday, Mama. Yes. So I just wanted to make sure we take time to celebrate Maddie, because without Maddie and John L. Nelson, there will be absolutely no Prince. So we got to give respect
to the mamas.
Respect to the mamas. And I really do wish that Prince could have completed his autobiography, because I really always wanted to hear more about his mom. And it seems like he was ready to talk about it. So that's like one of my greatest regrets, is that he wasn't able to finish that.
Can I go to a quick diversion just for a quick second?
Yeah.
Grace? In the same vein of his mom there and in his family and stuff, allow me to Grace to say that I watched this movie last night. I had seen this movie before, but I watched it with my daughter, my older daughter. I think it's called, I wasn't expecting it. It's a Michael Jackson movie. I think it's called Searching for Neverland. I don't know. Have you heard of this movie? It's not new.
It sounds like, is it a documentary?
No, it's a acted out movie. It is there was a book that came out called Remembering the Time. And it was written by these two brothers who were his personal bodyguards for the last couple years of his life. and you see it from their angle. They're being with Mike every day with his family and his kids. But anyway, so they made a movie. It was a Lifetime movie. In some sense, it's very similar to like Maite's book in a sense. You know what I mean? It's a behind the scenes look at an icon, and you see him in a way you've never seen him before. But it was told with so much love. One of my favorite books of all time. Crazy to say. But they made a movie of it. And we watched the movie last night. I watched it with my daughter. And I don't know, for some reason, the movie just hit totally different to me from when I saw it a couple years ago. Both of us were in tears watching that movie. It is so sad. Because there's a guy playing Michael in the movie. Remarkably enough, I forget that he's an actor. And I just started to think that was Michael. And watching the things was going on between him and his kids and just the life that they led, it was heart-wrenching, actually. And just seeing how his whole world was so crazy. And he had everything. He was super rich and all this stuff, but he was in such pain. And as a father, I was just watching, just like, I can't imagine, and just seeing his kids can't go outside. You know what I'm saying? And but it reminded me of, it just makes me think of Prince and these people. Like, we hired them, and we put them in so high regard, almost to a fault, where they just can't have normal sort of human interactions with people, unfortunately. And then the world that they create for themselves is so isolated and wild. That's just like, good Lord, like, this is what we allow people to become. And the other thing I would say about it, you really see how they treated Michael as if he was a royalty. Like, he was beyond the presidents in terms of, like, he literally had all these guards in the house, in the room, like he would be attacked or killed or something at any given moment. So you can imagine what that must do to a person. And you have 3 little children. It was just, it was wow. To bring it to Prince, there's a mention of Londell McMillan in the movie. 'Cause I think he was Mike's lawyer or something at the time. But in the book, Londell is even more deeper in the book. In the book, if I remember correctly, Londell giving Michael his own personal credit cards to live on. I mean, so he could tell you like the level of where Michael was, where he had to take money from somebody else to support his family. And this brother gave him the money off of just the strength that you're Michael Jackson. Like, we're not gonna have you out here looking crazy. The people ain't gonna have you looking crazy. So I got a lot of respect for Londell to do that. But nonetheless, I just said, if you want to see something, maybe what we might see from a Prince at some point, you should go search this movie out. It's an underrated movie, but it's actually really good. And I would say, from a Black perspective, the movie is very interesting. From him being a Black father, from his own father, from the guy who's narrating this, he's also a father, and he's away from his family to take care of another man's family. And plus, he's Michael Jackson and all that. It's an interesting look. With that said, I'm deviate on back. Go here, but that movie is so much on my spirit last night. I just had to talk about it. Like, you have to see it. I'm telling you.
So speaking of MJ, while my mom was here a couple of weeks ago, I took her to see MJ on Broadway because my mom is a huge Michael Jackson fan.
That is coming to Seattle.
It was incredible. It's actually the best musical and I'm not into musicals, but I was just blown away. Just like the set design, there were a gazillion sets. I mean, just from a production standpoint, I really don't know how they did it. And I would be curious to see it. It's also in Atlanta, where my mom is, and I kind of want to go see it with her again in Atlanta just to see if they keep up the production values. But the story was really fantastic. I loved how they framed it around the Dangerous tour. It wasn't like like from the beginning to end kind of thing. It was based around the Dangerous tour, and I got to learn a lot more about Michael because I don't really know that much beyond his music. Because Prince takes up all my spare time.
You should definitely watch that movie then, because you see the human. You know what it was? He was just doing everything we all want. He wanted to pay. In a sense, he died wanting to pay the rent. It sounds crazy to say that, but that's what he was just trying to buy a house. It seemed like it was out of his reach, and he decided to do something that he probably physically wasn't able to do to get it because he wanted to be a dad to his kids, and he just had people around him who wanted him to do it, even though they knew he shouldn't have never did it. But anyway, I'm not going to get into it, but it's just
Oh, no worries. So, Audra, I would be curious to hear about the MJ Atlanta show, just because like there were a lot of like costume changes, how they transitioned from scene to scene. It was just like, if you have an opportunity to see MJ, I highly recommend it. It was time very well spent. All right, so let's get into week 45 of What Did Prince Do This Week? The estate of Prince Rogers Nelson is not affiliated, associated, or connected with the What Did Prince Do This Week book club series. We're going week to week, not date to date. This is the detailed schedule at our website where you can use the QR code to get to it. And you don't need the expanded edition. I'm waiting for my Tony. There we go. But that's what we're reading. And these are archived on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, which is at Polished Solid, as well as Michael Dean's YouTube channel, which is at MDean. I can finally say that. I don't know why it took me forever. Please subscribe, like, and help spread the word. We are committed to What Did Prince Do This Week for at least several, as long as I'm alive and Dwayne keeps writing books. We'll see how that goes. What did Prince do this week is the hashtag is WDPDTW, and we play, as I mentioned before, Madhouse 13, the Paisley Park Mix. So
we got to
that's
get
what
Mancina on.
Manisa,
baby girl, we got to get her on.
We should have baby girl on here. Yes, that would be great. Let's see. Got the audiobook. I'm assuming for Searching for Neverland.
Yeah, the audiobook is excellent.
Oh, okay. And then Coco saying, is the MJ movie on Prime?
It is.
Okay.
Here, let's get this out of the way because I don't want to take up the Prince time. It's the movie's called Michael Jackson Searching for Neverland. I don't know if you can see that.
It's there you go. Yep.
That's on Prime. The book is Remember the Time. So there you go.
Yeah. Dr. Claus says the story told by his bodyguards.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, bodyguards are important and have a lot of knowledge that many people do not have. So again, week 45. This week we had 2 studio visits while also having 6 days of shooting for the Purple Rain film. And we went back to Sex Shooter. Remember, we had a first attempt back in October. And I think we'll read about it, but I think this is the second attempt of vocals for Apollonia. And then there was like a compilation of the Purple Rain soundtrack on Monday, but also filming Prince Races Train. And then there's 2 days of Prince Racing Train. I can't get all of the scenes in this little calendar, obviously. So I just got like the key scenes or the scenes that triggered for me. And then Wednesday, Prince sees mom on side of the road. Everybody should know what that scene is if you've seen Purple Rain. And then everybody definitely should remember the dumpster scene that was filmed on Thursday. There are multiple Apollonia scenes, too many to name, filmed on Friday. And then one of my favorite scenes in Purple Rain, because it also comes back up in Sign of the Times Live, is the whole mall shop, the interior of the mall shop windows when they see the guitar. And I don't know why I love that scene. And then I also love the scene in Sign of the Times when he goes, come here, look, and I don't know, when I see one, I think of the other one. So yeah, I hear you, Blade Brown. I'm not going to put that on the screen, but yes, I'm absolutely with you.
Y'all give Apple some grace.
Well, I mean, okay, so like, here we go. So in the context, so we can like put this in Diamonds and Pearls. Been listening finally to the Prince podcast, the official Prince podcast that Andrea does, and I finally got to the part where Levi talks about bringing Rosie Gaines into the studio, like Prince wanting to hear her before, signing her on, and I remember Levi saying like, I can't remember exact words, but he said something like, "This is easy," like like this is like a no-brainer. So you have someone like Rosie, who is a vocalist, right? And then one of the things that I loved about Vanity, one of Vanity's interviews on a Video Soul with Donnie Simpson, she straight comes out and says, "I know I'm not a singer." Like, she was like, I do the best I can. So, I appreciate that. And, so thinking about Rosie, like one take Rosie, and, having to have someone who needs a little bit more coaching. It's a real thing. There's different levels, right? With anything. It would be just like, Prince is probably a one-take musician, whereas you might have certain, like one of my favorite documentaries is, I want to say it was Steely Dan's recording of Asia. And like they like, I don't know, had 3 or 4 different guitars, like guitarists try out the solo. And just to get a different feel for the song. And so like sometimes, it's not one take, even when you have like really amazing studio musicians, because that's all that Steely Dan used were the highest caliber of studio musicians. But even like their, guitar solos weren't really what they were looking for in terms of the feel. So, some people got the one take, some people don't have the one take. So, yeah. And as Lee Christian said, Rosie is phenomenal. Absolutely. In the Glam Slam show. She's always working and always on point. And what's really interesting is this morning, I really wanted to hear Push. I don't know why I think Push for me, I just, even without looking at the video, because I've been listening to the CDs. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I still don't know how I feel. I love being able to listen to the Glam Slam show on CD as opposed to not having to put it in, like a Blu-ray. But at the same time, I kind of wish it was a different show, like maybe, since we have it, on the Blu-ray, like maybe we had the Miami show on audio. I don't know how I feel, but I love the audio of the Glam Slam show so much. So like, I don't hate what they did, but at the same time,
I think it's good that they put it out for the people who don't have the Blu-ray to get an opportunity to at least to hear it.
That's a good point.
It's a dope album. Like just listening to it unto itself is, I would argue, one of his better, if not best, live officially released. As much as I love One Night Alone, this kind of smokes that to me.
It smokes it to. I'm sorry, Kanisa. Hopefully Kanisa won't watch.
Here come the messages. How dare you?
Yes. I don't know. I think this show is really well sequenced. The energy is off the chain. And so like going back to like Push, I really wanted to hear Push. And I was like, I don't really want to hear Baby I'm a Star, because I've heard Baby I'm a Star a gazillion times. But when I was like tracking through the CD, I came upon this part where Rosie's singing Baby I'm a Star, and I had never heard anyone sing it that way, because Rosie is singular, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's elevating Baby I'm a Star. I've never heard like, a vocalist really of her caliber sing a song like Baby I'm a Star, and she really elevates it. And I was like, oh, this is interesting to think about. Like, again, I think Baby I'm a Star is a pretty pop celebratory tune. And all of that. Yeah, exactly. Be careful when you talk about One Night Alone. I love One Night Alone. But the thing is, I mean, anybody who knows me, I'm really big into high energy. So I'll take high energy any day over any other. And I'm really big into like dubstep and drum and bass. So 140 BPMs, 170 BPMs in terms of drum and bass. Like, I like it like on a fire. I don't like it dead. I mean, unless I'm in that kind of mood. But that's just me.
I wonder if having Rosie in the band like that with the way you just talked about it, remind me of actually the first way that I heard "I Feel for You" was Shaka Khan. Like, that's the person I heard first, and in the same way where Shaka Khan took that song and shot it to the moon, her voice and just everything about it kinda reminds me of Rosie coming into Prince's world and taking his stuff and just taking it to another level just by adding her into it, which is funny enough as you think about it, the same way Shaka Khan took "I Would Die for You" and they added rap elements to it. That was like one of the first songs where you kinda heard that anyway, and they made that sound into the current sound, and it is a tinge of sort of hip hop, starting to touch into it. Also you have Stevie Wonder. Almost is the same kind of way if you think about it. Like Prince took his music, Diamonds and Pearls, and injected all these other elements elements into it, hip hop specifically. Another great singer, voice into it and a rapper into it, the same way that they did with "I Would Die for You." With "Baby Tripping." "I Feel for You." It's almost as if it was like, I see what worked with I Feel for You" back then could be the same formula that makes this Diamonds and Pearls project work. The rapper, the big beats, and the great vocal singer, black woman singer that can blow. It's almost like the same cheat code was applied to this entire era that
That's
they
a good
applied to
point.
that song. If you think about it, it's kinda interesting.
That is interesting. And speaking of "I Feel for You," have you heard the Pointer Sisters version?
I have. It doesn't jump out to me. I can't remember how it sounds.
I prefer the "I Feel for You" one, only because I'm a huge fan of the Pointer Sisters.
Mm.
And I'm not gonna go down to "I Feel for You" rabbit hole because how only because I don't want people I don't know. Anyway, so Blade Brown. I love that you wrote that band brought his energy up so high, had that man doing the running man on top of a bar. That is my favorite moment. It was like my favorite moment when I saw it at Celebration, and when I saw it for the second time, for the first time, that was the moment I was waiting for. I was like, "I know he got on top of the bar. When is this gonna happen?" Because I couldn't remember when it happened. That was crazy, and I was like, "Please don't fall." Don't slip. But he was, like, playing his butt off, and then Chris is saying, "Rosie is awesome. I think Bonnie Boyer used to tear the roof off the." Yes, I'm a
Oh,
huge Bonnie
absolutely.
Boyer fan, like, absolutely. Um, so yes, indeed. Ooh, okay. So Coco is saying, "My song is Thunder" at Glam Slam.
In the night.
And
Actually, I sing it now. That's Tanja.
yeah. Tanja. All right, so we could talk on and on about Glam Slam. Speaking of which, what's up, Law?
What's up,
Thank you so
Law?
much.
I see you in the studio with Tony and Law.
Yeah. And Kim is saying that based on Thunder, and I love Lee Christian says Prince preempted Coyote Ugly. I don't know if you
Hilarious.
remember that movie where they were dancing on the bar. That's a good point, Lee Christian. And Mila says he was so free. Oh, I love that. Love seeing him let loose like that. He was so free. Yes.
When I win the lotto, that's how I'm gonna get up on the bar. Serve you down. I'm on my push. What you doing?
And then Maria says, when the camera went down the stairwell, I almost blacked out because I remember that stairwell. That is amazing, Maria, that you got to experience that. And what's up, Ricky? Thank you for being here. And Dr. Claus says Bonnie Boyer had that classic purple woman voice. Notice this
like
on Digital Underworld. I like that too.
Yes.
Oh, yes, Lee Christian. This is another great moment. Seeing Prince doing up his tie. You see him getting undressed a lot, but never really getting dressed on stage. So that was interesting to see, and one of my favorite moments too. Hi, Troy. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're well. But yes, she was a perfect bridge. I wouldn't call her bridge. I mean, Bonnie was Bonnie. Bonnie was pretty amazing. I think they're just different and distinctive. And Law says, y'all have no idea what's about to happen with me and Tony. All questions musically
Okay.
answered in the name of all things MPG. Say it, Law. All
Love it.
right.
Love it.
And Maria says, zip his pants. And we all know about that. And then Blake Brown, the people that were there that night finally have receipts to show their, that's a good point. Have receipts to show their kids and grandkids. That would have been an incredible show to see live. Do we have anyone here who actually saw that live when it was happening? And then one of these days, we got to discuss P as a band leader more. Yes, Ricky, that's a good point. This is funny. I love this KMS. P was doing the holy dance on that bar. He was getting it for sure. All right, so let's get back to our What Did Prince Do This Week? Sunday, November 6th, we're in the Kiowa Trail home studio with Sex Shooter and Apple's doing the second attempt on vocals, producer Prince, artist Apollonia 6, and engineer Susan Rogers. And Maria says, I wish I saw him there in 94. Incredible. That's still incredible. And Law saying, Bonnie and Rosie, enough said, and no explanation needed. I love that. All right, Michael Dean, I'm going to give you reading duties, if that's okay. And if you, these are short ones this week. So let's do page 192. Everybody pull out your books and get ready to do some reading.
Page 192.
192.
All glory to God. All right, yes. Saints. Sunday, November 20th, 1983, Father's Song. Ooh.
No. 192.
Oh, my bad.
Sorry, Pastor.
This is what happens when you're out at the juke joint at night.
Wow. Make a note of that.
Yeah.
Back. Okay, November 1983. Juke joint. Production for Purple officially began on November 1st. Although some exterior shots were reportedly filmed the previous day to beat the pending bad weather. Because the movie would be shooting until just before Christmas, Prince focused most of his energy on the film, leaving little time for studio work. That doesn't mean that none occurred, but very little has been verified. All right, so November 6, 1983, Sex Shooter. I'm just going to jump to the quote.
Yep.
The character Apollonia plays in Purple Rain is a very, in a way, parallels who she really is. She came to Minneapolis as a spunky, giving kid who wanted to learn. She was nice. She was intelligent. She had flair and spunk. She was the new kid on the block, but she fit in. That was Wendy Melville. With the movie finally shooting, Apollonia was gaining confidence and finding her voice on the project. Vocals weren't quite her stuff, recalls Susan Rogers, but she kept working on it, kept getting better. They were back in on another day, and she did the vocals on it. And maybe a week or so after the first attempt, because that was right when they started making the movie. And they had weekends off, or at least Sundays off. And they would come in on a Sunday. Prince would eventually create a track with her that reflected the sound he wanted. He probably realized that because Apollonia was an actress, it made sense to have her act the part of a singer, which revealed the voice of her character. Ultimately, even Rogers conceded that Apollonia had this campy quality to her voice that was perfect. Brenda Bennett recalled how he worked with new talent. Prince has a way of extracting from you, sometimes painfully, and sometimes without you even knowing it. Creatively, he pulls out your best parts you never even knew you had or could do. He wasn't always nice about it. I'll read that part again. He wasn't always nice about it. But then it wasn't about being nice. It was about learning how to reach out and grow in a direction you may never have even tried on your own. That's interesting. The tune was very catchy, and although the song was originally intended for her predecessor, Apollonia added her own flair that reflected her personality. Vanity's moaning was eliminated, and Brenda Bennett recorded some additional background vocals. Ultimately, Apollonia's performance altered the effect of the track, turning it into a more playful pop song. All right.
So speaking of Sex Shooter, and Brenda Bennett's vocals, as everybody knows, I love Brenda's voice, and I mean, I love the depth of her vocals on Sex Shooter in particular, and you really get to hear it on the extended version of Sex Shooter when she's just saying Sex Shooter. Kind of going back to the same conversation about Rosie singing "Baby I'm a Star." Like hearing Brenda sing Sex Shooter really elevates the song, because I think without Brenda's background vocals, it would be too pop. So that's a great mix. All right. Let's see what we got. Welcome the Adult Symphony channel. Yes, this is correct. Apollonia doesn't age. She looks great. Blade Brown says Prince to apples. Okay, one more time. Drinks wine and opens another bottle. And Chris says, I'm not sure what campy means, but I've always thought there's a husky quality to Apollonia's voice. I will say that I sometimes look forward to Apollonia's vocals on certain songs. Take Me With You, big one of them, but we won't talk about that. So let's see. The Christian says it was interesting on the Diamonds and Pearls podcast how Rosie says she increased her vocal range working with Prince. That's a good point. And I'm sure they probably pushed each other, as did like TDK pushed Prince into a better dancer, in my personal opinion. But that's just me. And Blade Brown says campy equals turn the instruments up in the mix. And let's see. Dixon says, do you guys know that P reused the Dear Michelangelo guitar solo on the Scandalous Sex Suite? I've heard this and I've listened to this. I personally disagree, because I have friends and we've been debating this for years. And while the guitar tone is very similar, it is not, based on my ears. And I've listened to this a gazillion times because one of my friends swears up and down that this is true, and I don't hear it. And
I gotta listen. I didn't know this.
Many times.
I wouldn't be shocked if it is, though.
Yeah, it could be, but it's not. The same way that there's one of the songs, I can't remember, one of the songs that supposedly has like a Madhouse riff on it on the Diamonds and Pearls, like horn riff, and it's not the same. It's very close, but it's not the exact same Madhouse riff. That's, yeah, it drives me crazy. All right, so let's go to our next slide, which is Monday, November 7th, 1983, Coward Trail Home Studio. But I forgot to change out that's okay. So Purple Rain compilation, producer Prince, artist Prince and others, engineer Susan Rogers. We are going to go to page 93 and 94, and I will read this time. Yes, Dixon, we're going to have to agree to disagree, because like I said, I've been having the same conversation for years, if not decades, and I have listened to that. The Scandalous Sex Suite, which is one of my absolute favorites, the Scandalous Sex Suite, and Dear Michelangelo for that matter too. I love it, especially on originals, like the Prince version. On originals, it's like on fire. So it's not, I have listened to those parts over and over. I have cut them in Ableton. I've put them on top of one another, on one track, on another track. I mean, I've done it all, and I just don't. Yeah, I think it might be, something, I don't remember which one, but yep. Thank you, Dixon. Thank you. Much love. I really appreciate it.
Prince knows his catalog.
Yes, yes.
Dibbles and dabs.
Yeah, definitely. But thank you so much. I really love, Dixon, that you're like, we can have a debate with love and not get all mad with one another. That's the way it should be. So I really appreciate you, Dixon, more than you can ever know. And then just was saying, Rosie Gaines gave a supreme boost to Prince's production of Diamonds and Pearls. Love just her vocal talents alone stamped that particular song a timeless musical pleasure to hear. Love me some Rosie. Yes, everybody loves Rosie. All right, so I'm going to read at the bottom of page 193, and this is a quote from Susan Rogers. Even on the set of Purple Rain, the movie, he was running back and forth to do recordings, which sounds like Prince. All right, according to sources, a test pressing of Purple Rain was created on this date. It included the following tracks: Let's Go Crazy, 7 minutes and 35 seconds. The Beautiful One, 6 minutes and 10 seconds. I Would Die For You, 3 minutes and 23 seconds. Baby, I'm a Star, 4 minutes and 18 seconds. Computer Blue, 12 minutes and 28 seconds. Darling Nikki, 4 minutes and 1 second. Purple Rain, 10 minutes and 44 seconds, as well as Wednesday and Father's Song. And what's missing is obviously When Doves Cry. It should be noted that Darling Nikki did not have the coda added to the end. Although it doesn't make sense to have two versions of Father's Song, it was also part of Computer Blue and a solo track by Joe Jones. Susan Rogers feels this configuration may be from an actual test pressing. The reason there would be a song with vocals by Joe Jones on it was kind of a soundtrack from the movie. It was intended for singing in the movie. It would have made perfect sense. He was just anxious to get the record done. It was a little premature, but he did this test pressing because he was anxious. What's my record going to sound like? This track listing contains all 7 of the songs he recorded that were intended for the movie, but this configuration might not be complete. There could have been a second disc cassette that was intended to be part of the collection. This would likely have included Jungle Love and The Bird and possibly Modern Air. So this is really interesting. I mean, I've often debated whether or not Purple Rain should have been a true soundtrack. I mean, I still think that it would be, I know that Dez released a version of Modern Air, but it would be great to have it like a proper Purple Rain soundtrack. What say you, Michael Dean? Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I could go either way. It could have been your standard sort of soundtrack with the different songs, but I think each one of I'm just speaking of the Times album and Purple Rain, for instance. I think they're both such strong albums, and they're both big groups, that I'm not mad that they're not soundtrack albums, and they're just their own isolated things. I think that's more of a Prince move as well, as not to follow the norm to do a soundtrack like that. And I think that's a ballsy thing to come off of a double album and then just go into like a soundtrack-ish type of project that's not a soundtrack. So I'm not, I mean, it could have worked that way, but I'm not mad that it's not. I would have loved to, I'm saying I could love either way, but I think in the end of the day, Prince did the right thing by doing what he did because it obviously worked. If he put those other songs in there, I wonder if we would have got When Doves Cry.
Yeah, that's also something I often think about. Like, and obviously, When Doves Cry is key and crucial.
Yeah, it's like that's the monster
Yeah.
hit. He pushed himself to you need something else, Playboy. Okay, take the bass out. It breeded innovation for him. It was a killer.
Yeah. So, Bun Anarchist says Modern Air is so banging. I agree. Maria says Modern Air would have been perfect on Purple Rain. Chris is saying a true Purple Rain soundtrack would have had to be a double album, and Warner Brothers didn't want to do that after 1999. Ding, 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 ding. You're probably dead on it.
Yeah, and not too many soundtrack albums out there that are big sellers, right?
No. Was Saturday Night Live one? Saturday Night Fever, I mean. Was that one?
I don't know. Actually, you know what? I don't know. Maybe I'm a
Was
little
that
too
double?
young.
Can someone look up Saturday Night Fever soundtrack by the Bee Gees? See, would have helped mend some relationships from a financial standpoint for sure. Yep, that's a good point. And welcome, Robin. Thank you for being here. And Robin says it would be cool if they did a re-release next year as a full soundtrack. And then Lee Christian said, then it would be like Graffiti Bridge. Sometimes I just want the Prince songs on there, even though I like the rest lots. Yeah, good point, Lee Christian.
And he wasn't, we have to remember too, he was not a pop star leading into this. Like he was still just, he was black famous. Keep it a buck. Before Purple Rain came out. He was just starting to peak, but he wasn't a pop star at this point. They had no idea what was going to happen. You know what I mean? That's what we have to remember. They had no idea that this was going to blow the way it did.
Yeah, they were actually taking a gamble.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, Saturday Night Fever is a 2-album set. That's a whole nother thread that we won't go down, but it would be curious to, and that's like one of the best-selling soundtracks of all time, Saturday Night Fever. How many soundtracks were double?
That's an outlier, actually. In a sense. Like, that'd be like, somebody just had the biggest record of all time, and you think yours is going to be that, and you ain't got no track record for that.
Oh. Yeah. So
and they were already talking about, well, we need to have this movie star John Travolta. So let's put it in context of how they saw Prince.
Yeah. So what's really interesting in reading about this test pressing, the first thing that really stands out for me is that Let's Go Crazy is 7 minutes and 35 seconds. And it would end up being 4 minutes and 39 seconds on the album. But the special dance mix is 7 minutes and 35 seconds. So I'm curious if this Let's Go Crazy is the same as the special dance mix. That's one question I would have. The other question is on the album, The Beautiful Ones ended up being 5 minutes and 13 seconds. And on this test pressing, it's 6 minutes and 10 seconds. So it'd be interesting to hear the rest of the Beautiful Ones because it doesn't seem like this version has been released. And then let's see, I Would Die For You on the album is 2 minutes and 51 seconds, but it's 3 minutes and 23 seconds on this test pressing. And then obviously, the extended version, which I absolutely adore, is 10 minutes and 15 seconds. So I'm assuming that this version of I Would Die For You is, I can't tell, like, if it seems like the extended version may be recorded at a different time. I can't see what does Prince Vault say.
You talking about the 12-inch version?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I think a rehearsal or something.
Rehearsal, right. That's right. And then let's see. For Baby I'm a Star, we have 4 minutes and 20 seconds. And so the test pressing was 4 minutes and 18 seconds. So it's pretty much the same. Now, we all know about how Computer Blue got chopped up to bits. And on the album, it's 3 minutes and 59 seconds. And then on this test pressing, it was 12 minutes and 28 seconds. So I think it was probably the hallway speech version. At this point, it has to be. And then Darling Nikki was 4 minutes and 1 on a test pressing, but Dwayne says the coda wasn't there, and it ended up being 4 minutes and 13 seconds with the coda. And then Purple Rain. Purple Rain on this test pressing was 10 minutes and 44 seconds, and on the album, it ended up being 8 minutes and 41 seconds. So there's like 2 minutes that's missing. That's interesting. Okay.
Just want to quickly thank you, the Adult Symphony channel, for the super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you.
And yep. Okay. So that's what's been going on in 1983. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the movie really quickly. Yeah. So these are some shooting locations. So for Monday, November 7th, you can see exterior shot on Access Road and Train and Bike. Burlington Northern Cedar Lake Yard. And then on Tuesday, still again, remember the train and road crossing and bike. Again, Burlington Northern Foley Road and East River Road, Coon Rabbits. And let's see. See what Man Ray is saying. I remember hearing the album version of Let's Go Crazy before I saw the Purple Rain movie. When Prince went to break down the extended version in the movie, I lost my mind. Yeah. And then, yes, a lot. Yeah, much of that is circulating, of course. Let's see. Jay loves Prince. Part missing from Purple might be the verse he took out from the First Avenue version. That's a good point. I like that. That's a good point. And for Absent Long to For Everlasting Love, I think love maybe to Prince Podcast, rather.
Thanks.
Yes. Sir. We love podcasts on Prince. Now, this is a call sheet, which is really interesting for me because I didn't think maybe I knew Jelly Bean's real name, but now I know it's Gary Johnson on this call sheet. So, and then what's interesting, the part of Apollonia, and we all know Apollonia's first name was Patricia Patty. So you see Patty Cotero and Morris Day, Jerome Benton, Jill Jones, Bobby Rifkin, which is Bobby Z, Matt Fink, Wendy Melvoin, Lisa Coleman, Mark Brown, Chick Huntsberry, Jesse Johnson, Gary Johnson, which is Jelly Bean, Brenda Bennett, Susan Moonsey, Billy Sparks.
Really?
And yeah. Jill L. Hubbard. Yes.
Forever immortalized.
Forever immortalized. Mark Cardenas, Paul Peterson. I don't know who is Katie Lasley. Is she one of the waitresses? And then Kim Upshur, who we all know.
Wow. Just all of those people are such a cast of everybody a part of the camp, and that's great, man. That he put his people in there like that.
Yeah, it is really great. I mean, we know this, but just seeing this like in black and white, like the names back to back to back to back to back, I personally think is really special. Just seeing like how many people he put on in the film, I think is really great. And then this was addition to call sheet for Thursday, December 8th. And there are 2 production offices, one at First Avenue and another at Holiday Inn. And they had 3 police officers, 3 security guards from Jacobson Security as arranged by Kirk Hokinson. And then we had 5 First Avenue security guards, 2 club liaisons, Michael Bosley and Roy Freed, parking spaces and company lot on First Avenue as arranged by Transportation and Kirk Hokinson. And for production, there are 150 gallons of coffee for Plaza 3 Extras as supplied by Jimmy Jingle. Love that name, Jimmy Jingle. 600 box lunches for Plaza 3 Extras supplied by Lincoln Dell, I guess maybe Deli, I don't know. Earplugs and replacement ID badges available from the First Avenue production office. Sound, Clearcom system and playback system, 20 walkie-talkies, 2 bullhorns, playbacks as per call sheet. Crane as supplied by Tom Countryman. Greg, neon from Greg Warf, I can't pronounce that, as arranged by Ward Preston. Electrical 8 follow spot operators and lamps, props as per script and schedule. Fire extinguishers, they were being safe. Prince Group, amplifier, playback system, Alan Leeds, Roy Bennett, Hawkeye. I don't know who Hawkeye is. Does anyone know who Hawkeye is? John Lebetsky. I don't know who John Lebetsky is. Does anyone know who John Lebetsky is? Susan Rogers, required on set at all times. So the Prince Group are required on set at all times. special effects, smoke. Yes, a lot of people don't realize the work behind the scenes. Yeah, I love smoke. As you guys know, well, some of you might not know, I gave a presentation all about smoke for the 7888 conference that Kirsty put on. So I'm obsessed with Prince and smoke. So I just like lit up when I saw that one word, smoke. Set dressing as per Ann McCulley's instructions. Craft service 6 as per Kirk Hookinson. Nurse Barbara Sabitsky as arranged by production office. Note, cigarettes, soft drinks are available for sale to cast, crew, and extras from the bar on upper level. Please limit personal property on location. So, like this is in the 80s. So there
for sale in caps.
yes.
We ain't nothing free. We ain't giving y'all free. You gonna buy it.
Yes. Yes. I'm gonna go back. Oh yeah, this is I love this point, Drea Dancer. Drea Dancer says, interesting that Prince's part isn't listed as a kid. It just says part of Prince. Yeah, that's really interesting. Thank you for pointing that out. That's the reason why I love doing this with you guys, because you see things that I don't see, because I totally didn't see that. Yes, small details that all start in the mind of the artist before the money is even invested. Indeed. All right. So on Wednesday, you can see there were some external alley shots, downtown streets, and this was on Hennepin. Everybody should know, if you've been to Minneapolis, where Hennepin is. So we have some scenes shot on between 7th and 8th and 5th Street, 7th and 8th. And then on Thursday, there was 7th Street at First Avenue, and then the alley dumpster. I didn't realize that the dumpster was so close to 7th Street and First Avenue, which makes a lot of sense, but like seeing it here, it's really interesting. And then this was for Friday, December 9th. And now obviously I'm not going to read through all of this, but you can see that this was First Avenue, Jungle Love, and the Bird. And you can just see all of the cameramen and the operators and the assistants and the extra cameraman and painters and all sorts of things, registered nurse, police, a lot of detail here, which I won't go through. Oh, so thank you, Christina, because Christina lives in Minneapolis. Lincolndale used to be a restaurant too. Great matzo ball soup. Awesome. And let's see. Thanks, Lee. That I'm not the only one who like smoke. That's what like, all right. And then so Friday, November 11th, this is an old location, obviously, because Vanity is still on here. But Morris's car, Vanity's motel and street, Vanity's window and room, 6.5 Glenwood Avenue between First Avenue and 9th Street. I'm assuming it probably the same, even though it's Apollonia. And then shop window scene says IDS Mall. Maybe Christine, you have some information about IDS Mall, if IDS stands for something. And yes, Law, I think it is. Yeah, that is probably the same dumpster Jerome dumped that girl in. And yes, I really wish that
LA with the Morris scene.
Did they?
I was asking.
I don't know. Like I said, this is a earlier, obviously, location.
I wonder if this is more of the scenes where Prince is by the bike, by the dumpster, Apollonia comes down, or she's out standing.
Yeah, that's true too. That's possible. And then this is a little bit more information, and I'm just going to, oops, I don't want to do that. What am I trying to do? I'm going to make Michael Dean be big, because I don't want you guys, for me to see me that I can't see, and I need to.
You're trying to hide.
Yeah, I'm trying to hide because I can't see, and my eye would be all up in the screen because I can't see. Yeah, because I want to read this, but I can't because. All right, hold on. Wait a minute.
Some goodies. Ooh, Lord.
All right.
But yeah.
So it says day 6, Monday, and we already talked about this. So the actors working for the train, like on Monday and Tuesday, the when Prince is on the motorbike. So we got one Prince, and according to this document, it says 22 stunt doubles. That just doesn't make sense. It had 22. Maybe there's a typo or something. And then it has one stand-in, and then the props are glasses, Prince's round glasses, the bike, and chain. And then it says insert car, and then it says something like Panaglide and second camera, and then need locomotive and crew plus train people. You gotta have some train people. And then for Tuesday, it says Prince races train, crosses in front of it, stops, train roars by. Still says one Prince, 22 stunt doubles, one stand-in, 2 something in car, 3 kids. I don't remember any kids. Maybe they ditched the kids. And then props, glasses, same, all the stuff I said before. It says breakaway, drop, arm, gate at intersection, cops for traffic control, locomotive crew, and train people. Okay, so
going back to the stunt double stuff, if you really watch the movie now, like if you're able to watch it like on a big screen, you can obviously see that it's not Prince driving those bikes. It's so funny when you see them now. It's just like, who is that? But I never noticed that back in the day. Like I just was like, oh yeah, that's Prince.
Yeah, because you the suspension of disbelief, right? So
yeah.
And we were just so excited to see Prince in a movie. At least I was. So on Wednesday, there's the alley. It says Prince watches Apollonia being dropped off and entering building. And then the exterior shots of downtown street. Prince sees mom at accident site, talks to her. Woman puts him down. That's weird. And then it says, oh, maybe these numbers stand for something else because it says 10A mother, 17 cops, 17A woman. So that makes more sense now that there aren't 22 stand-ins, but maybe it's on the call sheet or something. So I need to look at that. And then for the props, there's glasses, wedding ring, bike and chain, wrecked car, cop cars, paramedic van, wet down, dolly track, blood for makeup. I don't remember blood on. Was there blood on the mom?
Might have been cut out from what we saw.
Yeah. And then it says external street alley. Apollonia exits Seville, enters alley and counts money. Chain on boot. Transportation Seville. Oh, that's okay. So that's the car. I'm like car illiterate, Michael Dean. So there was a car called a Seville, and then there's a wet down, and music. Let's go crazy. Let's get crazy. It has let's get crazy, not let's go crazy, which is interesting. And that goes back to there was an Andre Simone song called "Let's Get Crazy" by why am I blanking? Ellen Champagne King, and. See.
You, by mentioning his name, that's the thing we never would if though. What if Andre Simone was in the movie? That would have been.
Oh wow, that would have been incredible. It really would. And then let's see. On end of day, whichever day we're talking about, Morris car and highway. Morris car run by, city lights in background. And Apollonia photo double, Morris photo double, Jerome photo double, transportation, Morris car. Let's see. Downtown. Let's talk about
scene. Would have been a scene in the movie to turn the kid around where he would have went to that woman and she would have said, a little discipline is what you need. Changed his character and he did Purple Rain. You get that. And Andre and them was trying to get him to play his music too.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. That would have been incredible. I never even thought about Andre in the film. That would have been awesome. All right, let's talk about
Oh, I'll come stop.
it says Morris and Jerome walk and talk, need something different in the act. Babe hits on Morris, throws her into dumpster, crosses the street, and goes to car. And props dumpster pads, Morris's car, cop car. Then Prince rides down alley, glasses, bike and chain, steam effects, wet down alley. And Avalon waits Prince. He says they gotta go right away. This is when Morris is in the alley doing his, gyration. Glasses, bike chain, bike. Yes, exactly.
Pause.
Yes. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that's interesting here. I really wanted to read about the alley, so we know that was the one where they do dump the girl in the dumpster, and then there's nothing else that's really interesting. Yeah, okay.
Okay, but could be doing much better.
Yeah.
That Apollonia baby we saw last night. Of course, she'll give everything. That part always kills me. That's so funny.
Yes. So Christina comes through. Investors diversified services for IDS. And then Blade Brown is saying that stare down with the cop car is in the trailer. Nice. It's just on the internet, Christina. A lot of the auctions. There's an auction going on right now. Actually, that has I didn't get the stuff from there, but there's like a whole Purple Rain production folder that's being auctioned off right now, and it hasn't been the first time.
Can I ask you a question, Angela?
Sure.
How do you feel about those auctions? Sit back.
I feel some kind of way. I really wish that they would donate them to Paisley Park. Just for posterity's sake. And in some cases, because for instance, with the current RR auction, there's a set of, like, they have Sheila E.'s wardrobe fabric swatches, and I go like, why can't that just go back to Sheila? You know what I mean? Because that was for Sheila. Or, they have a lot of different things. I mean, obviously it's great to have a little piece of Prince or whatever, but I just know that when you get this stuff, like, what do you do with it? Do you have it on display, or do you put it in a locker? So like, who gets to see it or interact with it? Or maybe, they could, put it on loan to Paisley Park or something like that. I don't know. But it's like some of the stuff in this recent auction is pretty incredible. Like the Under the Cherry Moon.
The white coat and some of the outfits.
Yeah.
Do we know who's doing this auction?
Actually, I don't know. I haven't looked into it. And sometimes there's multiple people. It might not just be one person. I don't know. I mean, I understand at the same time too, like, you need money to live. So, there's like pros and cons. You don't know what people's situations are financially.
Right.
So I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. I don't know. What about you?
I'm kind of the same way. I mean, on one hand, you would want that to be Paisley Park being displayed, or the family, the estate owns it. But again, I don't know who the person is selling it and how they acquired it. Maybe they was super cool with Prince and he wanted them to have this stuff to do whatever they want to do with it. I'm not gonna pocket watch somebody. That's something I just brought up to do. So if that's how they're getting their bread, they always say you can't hate the player, hate the game. That there is a mechanism in place for this to be happening. But Yeah, you would. I would wish that it could be, on my Indiana Jones. It needs to be in a museum. But like you said, I don't know how their situation is. Maybe they need this to eat, and I don't know. But it's interesting when you just see it come up, and you're just like, they selling that? Like, really? And it seems like you said the things that are on auction are just like, I'm shocked. I'm like, wow. I would have
Yeah,
thought the estate would have had stuff like this, but I'm a fan. I'm an outsider. So what do I know? You know what I'm saying?
so I have a back channel comment, and that's letting me know that it's mostly from a French fan who is selling it.
Oh,
So the
interesting.
recent
I wonder how they got
auction, yeah.
Man, I guess there are levels to fandom, apparently. And I ain't on the level where I got his clothes in the back in the closet because these people got his stuff. I'm like, damn. What chat groups do they frequent? We still just
Yeah.
talking about trading boots. These motherfuckers trading the actual boots and the draws.
So I actually I didn't know about this New York Times article where I can't find anything where my stream. Hold on. I have too many. I'm one of those. I have too many windows open, and I can't get back to a StreamYard window. Oh, here we go. So this, you might want to look at this, Michael, when you have time. There's a New York Times article that was released a couple of days ago about Prince the items up for auction. And yes, indeed. And yes, Kim, there are levels. And Love Sexy says, as long as if it's not stolen property, I don't have a problem with the auction.
Mm.
And Christian said, I have items from auction, so I can't complain.
Hilarious. What you got, Lee?
Yeah.
What you
I like
buy?
to be able to have things for a time. Folks could loan their purchases to the museum, still own them. Yep. Yeah, like I said, I have mixed feelings about it. I mean, I understand as a fan. I mean, I would love to have some original, like having maybe the original script for Under the Cherry Moon. I would love to have that, but I don't have that kind of dollars to make that happen. So we're getting to the end of our time together, and I'm just gonna quickly go through this because we don't. And I'm sure everybody already knows about this really great interview that Sunset Sound did with Dr. Fink. I think it's really great that Dr. Fink is getting his flowers. As everybody knows that I love me some Dr. Fink. So I'm glad that they are interviewing. And yes, I agree. Yep. I agree with that. And then we had your incredible, you and Big Sexy did an amazing review of Live at Glam Slam. So if you haven't checked that out, please do. It's actually in the playlist for this week, as well as in the slide deck. It's on the first page. If you click on these images, it will take you where you need to go. You can also do your Googles. And then I hope that everyone is still enjoying their Prince and the New Power Generation box set. Hold on 1 second. Let me make you full screen. Yeah, I see it in the back. Yep.
Don't you just love that metallic little shiny?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, this is cool. I didn't know Brown Mark would be an upcoming guest on the Sunset Sound series. That would be great. I want to hear from Brown Mark. That would be awesome. And yes, I did buy my whole family. Yep, I did. Because it's important. Also, I'm going to be honest with you. I used to do that. I mean, and it's not just because I'm an essayist in the book. When I was a little kid, meaning in my teens, especially when I started not living with my mom, I would buy doubles and take one to my mom's place in case one of my places caught on fire. That's how like I gotta keep like. So I bought my mom a lot of Prince stuff over the years, and I'll give it to her, just knowing that I have a backup just in case. So that's kind of how I've always done things. So yeah,
Just
and
to talk about that real quick. I mean, that's so great that you had the vision to do that, because I know a lot of us, well, I'll speak for myself. I didn't think about like that, but now here we are 30, 40 years later. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of hard to get some of that stuff, or you got to get the reissue. You don't got the original. So imagine another 30, 40 years from now, and you're going to be like, yo, they don't make this no more. Like, it's just digital. You ain't got it. So maybe it is important. And I was, start holding on to some of these things so you can pass them down to your kids. That's how I look at this. I'm like, you know what? I'll probably hardly ever play this just because I have the, streaming or whatever. But hopefully one day my kids will be like, I remember my dad had this. I wasn't really paying attention to it. Let me check this out. Whoa. And they get into it. That's how I was with a lot of music my parents had. I always remember seeing the Superfly soundtrack, my mom's house, my dad's house. I didn't know what the hell that was. And it didn't look like something I would want to listen to. But here I am, 20 years later, when I discovered that, I was like, oh, my parents have this. This was in my house. This is dope. Like, and I can appreciate it. And then it gives me a different take on my parents. Like, they're not as corny as I thought they were. Like, they were listening to this. You know what I mean? Like, so hopefully our kids or people years from now, they'll inherit all of our stuff, because we can't take it with us.
no,
Or
you can't take
family
it.
members or something, and they'll be like, I see why they were into Prince like that. Wow. Incredible. Like, so yeah.
Yep. So Chris is saying, does anybody have the MBG comic book that came out during the DMP era? It's in my garage. I actually didn't know about the MBG comic book. So
you knew about that, didn't you? The comic book? Was it?
I know about one for the three, like I call it the 3 chains of gold, but is there I don't know about it. Okay.
Well, there was 2 of them, I believe.
I know there's 2. I mean, I definitely know there's 2. I'm trying to figure out if there's a third one, because like I never heard it being called MPG comic book.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. It's just okay, got it. Yep. This is pretty funny. Physical copies for life and after. Yes. Just like the Egyptians.
Will have that. They'll probably have that. When your body is gone, we'll put you in a thing, and you can take all of your digital stuff with you, so you can listen to it while you live in the cloud or something crazy. I would not be surprised.
This is I'm glad that we're having this conversation because Vanessa is key. What she's written right here. I've already designated who will inherit my vinyl. My stuff will not be found in a secondhand store. I hear you.
Secondhand store.
Yes. And then Love Sexy. I used to buy double Prince albums starting with Sound Time, simply because my cassettes was always breaking. I stopped buying 2 when CDs became popular. Yes, that's my experience. My first Prince purchase was a 1999 cassette. I broke it. I bought another one. I broke it, and I just broke down and started buying CDs, even though I think I actually have a Graffiti Bridge cassette. So I didn't stop buying cassettes totally, but it wasn't my primary form of listening.
You know what? Yeah, what happens going forward if we all own it on digital? How does the transfer of music happen generationally if there are no physical copies? You can't. Your kids aren't gonna take over your Spotify playlist.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They have their own. Like how? And that was a thing I think in our culture, was the generational transfer of the music. We would not have hip hop if that was not the case, right? That's how hip hop was born. We took our parents' records and made jams out of those and made something else. You eliminate that out. How does the next wave happen if there's no transfer of the music from the prior generation? If it's all in the cloud, I didn't think about it like that.
That's the reason why I prefer physical forms of media. Yep. So yeah, and so, but we got a couple, because me and my husband, we have this conversation all the time. My husband is totally digital. I'm all about the physical. And I see, but an anarchist says the cloud. I see the Christian adopt a playlist.
You think about all the pictures that we have now, right? We used to have physical photo albums. That was the thing. At least in Black family, you go over and go showing them pictures and the babies. You know, grandma and them have generations of pictures.
Yes.
And we get to see our parents in the black and white. But now it's all on our cloud. Like, how do you give the cloud to your child? How are they gonna know the password and where they know where the pictures are stored? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how are we gonna do that? So we better start printing these pictures, man.
Yes.
And having these in the house for our babies, so they can show their babies. And here go Uncle Michael, or niece, nephew, da 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 da. Because we can put them all on Instagram and stuff, but how the kids gonna see it 30 years from now? They ain't gonna go dial back through 30 years of posts on your Instagram account to find them pictures. Oh, Lord.
Yes, but Christina's still scrapbooks. I appreciate that. And then SMS saying you have those external and portable hard drives, but they die. They'll die on you. Mm-hmm. And Love Sex says I still convert my digital pics to physical picture albums, which I think is a really great practice.
Plus, you don't want your kids to find them other pictures you got on your phone that ain't supposed to see. For grown folks' business, they ain't supposed to see them pictures. That's why you have a physical book, because it separate from grown folks to these pictures. Did y'all see that video of Gina from Martin recently came out yesterday?
Mm-mm.
Did you? She put her dad on blast. I don't know, we're going all over the place, but yeah, there's a Gina from Martin. She's going through her dad's CD collection. I don't know if her dad is passed or what, but she opening up the disc, and her dad had a plethora of porn movies, and she just, oh Lord, Dad, Black and White 2, Volume 2, Thickum Sisters 6. I'm like, you ain't supposed to be doing your but that's how, again, grown folks CDs and versus the ones you want. You can say, yeah, y'all better separate them. I don't know how we got into that. I thought I would know. I'm a Christian and I'm coming from the Lord. But for the rest of y'all,
that's right, Deacon. All right. So Mary said password protection, Michael Dean.
There you go.
And Susu says, spoken like a true father, Michael. And Kim is reeling us back in. The comics were Prince Alter Ego, which I know about. Oh, Prince and MPG, 3 Chains of Gold. I always just call it 3 Chains of Gold. So, okay. MPG, I got it. And then the rock and roll comics, Prince/George Clinton. All right. Okay. And Blake Brown, spring cleaning all weekend. I think you do some separations. And great advice. And Michael Deacon Dean.
Amen.
All right. So we're at the end of our journey. I just want to remind everyone that I'm super excited. I hope that you'll join us on Saturday, December 9th, as well as 10th, Sunday, for our Diamonds and Pearls Super Deluxe virtual celebration. Is the state of Prince Rogers Nelson is not affiliated and associated and all that jazz. You can find the schedule, how to register and all that at the bit.ly link of DPSDVC for Diamonds and Pearls Super Deluxe virtual celebration. And it's similar to what we did for the Sign of Times Super Deluxe celebration. And I really wish I could do what I did for that, because we had an event, but then every week afterwards, we went through each disc one by one. But that was like during the height of COVID, and people don't have time for that. But I would love to do it again with that. But we'll see. And then The exhibition at Mentor Newark is still going until the end of the year. So if you're in the tri-state area, definitely check it out. And next week we only have one page to read, which is on page 196. So it's not a heavy lift. And then we're going to have one more week after that. And then we're going to have our Diamonds and Pearls Super Deluxe virtual celebration. We're going to probably take a break because I doubt I'm going to be able to do what I would love to do. And then we're going to come back on December 30th for the end of 1983, which is pages 198 to 210. So we're getting down to the almost to the end of 1983, and we'll go into 1984. So I'm super excited. I love this Blade Brown. Like Mavis said, get your house in order. Exactly.
When did we start doing this show? Like, was it this year?
It was this year. It was the first weekend of January.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, salute to you. Like, this is this
No,
is a
salute.
Saturday morning ritual you got. I mean, in a great way. It's just a part of Saturday. This is like Saturday morning cartoons. Like, you got to get up and go check out D'Angela and having a good time. You're watching our cartoons and talking about the shit we love. This is great.
Yeah, and I couldn't do it without you, Michael. I have nothing but mad thanks. I love your energy, and we help feed off each other when we're having a rough morning. And so it's so great to have you partner in this, and I'm super excited about next year because then we start getting into the Purple Rain tour, which for me is all about Prince Live. So yes, thank you so much, Sakia. Thank you so much, Just Rules. So, thank you, Chris. That's very kind of you. So yeah, we have Kim. We pretty much have just 3 more weeks of What Did Prince Do this week for the rest of the year, and then we have the Diamonds and Pearls Super Deluxe celebration. So we'll be meeting next week. Next Saturday, the next 2 Saturdays, then we do the Diamonds and Pearls Super Deluxe, and then we'll break for 2 or 3 weeks and come back right before. Okay.
Either way, Ricky. If you're talking about Andre Simone in the movie, either way, but yeah, he could have been would have been on the Revolution, but maybe he would have been the one who could have stepped to Morris, and what I mean, like, yo, stay off my boy. Prince, don't even. I got you, Morris. Keep talking.
Yes. And that would have been incredible, though. So now it's just like, I always wanted to see Vanity, and now it's like Vanity and Andre. What a film that could have been. Incredible. All right. Well, we're at the end of our time together. Thank you so much, Michael Dean. As always, thank you to each and every one of you who take time out of your Saturday to be here with us. And I hope that you guys will join us next week. Take us out, Michael Dean.
Hey, y'all have a good one. Work it like a job. We will see you next weekend. Peace.
Peace.